I had everything I thought I wanted, a high-rise office, a hefty paycheck, a life that people dream of, but deep inside, something was missing. I realized I was empty. Everyone saw me as successful, but success tasted like dust without meaning. My days felt hollow, just repeating the same routine, always chasing tomorrow. I was stuck in a loop of achievements that never satisfied me. Then, on one ordinary evening, everything changed. I stepped out onto the terrace to clear my mind. The sky was quiet, but my thoughts were loud. A gentle voice drifted from a distance. It sounded like a melody. Curious, I followed the sound and found myself at a small, unassuming building. It was a mosque. Inside, I heard someone reciting verses from the Quran. The words were in a language I didn't know, yet they felt strangely comforting. Back at home, the encounter stayed with me. A few days later, my colleague Ahmed noticed my distraction and asked what was wrong. I confided in him and he listened patiently. He shared how he once felt lost too, until he found Islam. Over a simple meal, he talked about faith like it was a source of water for a thirsty soul. He handed me a small book, the Quran, and asked me to read it with an open heart. That night I started reading. Each verse seemed to echo the questions I was already asking. Why am I here? What is my purpose? Who created the stars I see at night? The answers were written in the pages before me, clear and direct. I remember reading, "Indeed, with hardship comes ease." Those words washed over me. I felt a wave of clarity and hope, like discovering a missing piece of a puzzle. Days passed. I turned to the Quran again and again. Each time I felt something inside me change. The concept of one God, the idea that all creation is connected by a single divine purpose, started to make sense. It felt logical, like an undeniable truth. There were no contradictions, no confusing doctrines, just a pure message that spoke to both my mind and my heart. The stories of the prophets inspired me. Prophet Yusuf's patience, Prophet Musa's trust in God. These weren't just fairy tales, they were real lessons for real struggles. I began to see that life was a test, and maybe I'd been going about it the wrong way. I also began praying. Before dawn, I knelt on a soft carpet facing Mecca, pouring out my soul. In the quiet morning I whispered my thanks and my worries. For the first time, prayer felt like a conversation with the Creator I was just beginning to know. Each day, I found more strength in those moments of connection. As I embraced these new routines, my old life began to fade into the background. The things that once defined me, status, possessions, even certain friendships, lost their hold over me. I wasn't just running away from them, I was moving towards something real. Each day I felt less anxious and more grounded. I found purpose in helping others, giving charity, and being part of a community that truly cared. The more I learned, the more I understood that Islam invited me to think, not just follow blindly. I researched history, science, anything I had doubts about. I discovered that the Quran is unchanged from when it was revealed, still the same words throughout centuries. I learned that we are all born with an innate nature to recognize the Creator. It was like a light switched on in my heart. I remembered who I truly am. One night, after weeks of searching and prayer, I made a decision that changed everything. I declared the Shahada, the testimony of faith, for the first time in my room, tears of relief in my eyes. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. In that moment, I felt a weight lift off my chest. I was home. From then on, my life transformed. I won't lie, it hasn't always been easy. My family had questions and some friends were concerned. But as they saw me become calmer, happier, they started to support me. In the mosque and the community, strangers welcomed me as a brother. I met people of all backgrounds, all united by this faith, and it was humbling and beautiful. Looking back, I know that leaving everything behind was the best decision of my life. Islam gave me answers, community, and a new purpose. It gave me back the joy of living with intention and gratitude. If you feel the emptiness I once felt, I encourage you to ask questions. Explore Islam with an open mind. You might be surprised where the answers lead you. I share my story not to preach, but to offer a real example of how faith changed my life. Maybe it can inspire you to search for your own truth. After all, we are all searching for something real in this world, and if you seek with sincerity, you just might find it.